I was like really enamored. I was like, oh, so all that sci-fi is like happening. It's like real. Things are getting closer to the speed of thought because like almost nothing's out of bounds.
This period of waiting before typing something and getting the result kills like something about creativity.
Like creation is always messy.
Yeah, creation is always messy. I think that's a great one to end it on.
Yeah, I love it. Who is Koto, or what is Koto?
What is a Koto? Koto is this character that I created, and I'm wearing the hat of the design right now. It's basically a new venture into how do you make something for a new generation. And I was really inspired by like Hello Kitty and Sanrio, as well as like Pokemon and Nintendo. And so I wanted to make something that really struck a chord with me that I could build now, like in 2026, instead of like 50 years ago with older IP. And I just kind of landed during 2020 on Koto, and that's what stuck. Yeah. So it's just like a cute, fun character that I want to bring out into the world.
What do you think that was the special ingredient that made something so as iconic as Hello Kitty to stick with society, or for people to get excited about it?
Small gift, big smile. That was their CEO's like slogan for many years. Like when they launched, and they just wanted to make like the traditional Japanese art like kawaii, and so they like made the cute eyes and nose, and they were like, oh, now we can sell more teacups or like sell like a purse if we brand it this way, and it can cater to this demographic. So they were just really smart about like creating as much as possible.
And that's interesting because it seems like it has never been a better way for like a V2 of this idea to be implemented. Because I feel like right now with all the tools that we have available to us, the ways how a character can become something else are kind of infinite. Yeah. Like right now, like 3D printing stuff is like so easy. Designing like a hat has never been as easy as today to do these kind of things. So what is I'm curious, like how do you manage all the things that you do? Like I was playing with like the little skate game that you've been developing. Is it a team? Is it yourself with like AI tools or other kinds of tools that you're making all this? How's it working?
Yeah, it's a lot of waiting. I was like, I created the IP, and now I wait for the technology to catch up.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
It's like a meme for me, and like I have a very small art team, and we're just like in love with creating. And so anytime a new tool comes out, we're like, oh, this is almost retroactively exactly what I planned for the characters, because I actually have two. One is Koto, and one is named Kaios. It's like a female, like almost Hatsune Miku meets Ghost in the Shell. And she is a character that's more expressive and able to talk. So she's like the edge test. It's like, okay, like how do we create something that can be like a live AI VTuber or something? And Koto is like this cuter, like, oh, you can instantly plug and play with it. And so it's a good like contrast of something more complex and then something easier. And creating, it just reminded me like what we're doing now is like, it's just getting closer to the speed of thought. And as someone who was like an editor, like video editor, all I wanted was like to communicate what I was editing faster. And now I can do that as like a creative director with just like a concept or an idea or a character. And so I think it just is waiting for things to get better, for like you guys to like work harder.
Yeah, we're on it. Yeah. And on like I'm curious, like what happened before Koto? Like where do you come from? Like you mentioned that you were like editing videos, you were like a creative director. What was like the whole path towards you forming this idea and this character?
Yeah. So I grew up in North Carolina, and I was kind of like the odd one out, like always obsessed with like video games and anime and creative stuff. And that was like my escape. And then I found like the internet after I found gaming, and it was like this beautiful, like, you know, overwhelming, you can have access to everything and have all these tools. And I started being very into filmmaking at a young age. And I was self-taught, just making like YouTube videos and making machinimas and I got deep into that as like just a personal hobby and love. And then I kind of moved to LA when I was like 17 and joined like the music and film industry through artists and mentors. I just reached out on like Twitter at the time, and I was like emailing and be like, I'll hold coffee for you. And then people were really open back then in like 2014, 2015. And then through that connection, just when I was 17, I was able to meet different bands and artists who were making music. And I was like, I know video and I can help with video. And then eventually, after 2016 to 2020, I was working with Brockhampton. They like skyrocketed, and then COVID hit. Artists stopped touring, and I was like, okay. And then I knew Dowda, who's Grimes' manager, and I was like, hey, are you guys still doing anything during this time? And they're like, yeah, we work remotely, like we already do everything. And I joined that team for 4 years and learned so much like from working with like a big group of guys and how we do like live show and visual production and music videos, and then working with like a high level artist like Grimes and doing like fashion and design. And she was the one that kind of gave the seed to me of like this AI like technology and the deeper kind of thinking, the futurist kind of concepts. And I was like really enamored. I was like, oh, so all that sci-fi is like happening. It's like real. I could feel it, you know?
It's interesting because I think one of the earliest, I don't know if you worked on this, but like one of the earliest songs, like I remember when I even learned what Grimes was because of you, because you were coding to Shinigami Eyes. I
That was
remember.
like right when I joined the team. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Ah,
That
like,
song is so good.
interesting, because I remember you were like coding and it was like, and you were just literally coding to the rhythm of the song. I was like, Shinigami. I remember, and I was like, what is this? What is this? I was like, is this a Death Note thing? And it's like, I don't know. And I was like, just feeling like so out of like a discover a new world. What is this thing?
Yeah. I love that. I was like semi helping with the music video, and just had joined. I was like, oh, this is crazy, like to be a part of this. And then seeing how they were pushing the technology. And then as I got more comfortable, I was just like pitching the wildest ideas, because it was like a very open team where like we could experiment as much as we wanted, like with new technology or like even just the wildest idea. And that's where I think it's beautiful that things are getting closer to the speed of thought, because like almost nothing's out of bounds.
You know, like I had an idea years ago, or like a way of thinking of how future artists would, like, essentially if, if there's a world where execution is somewhat automated, and you have like this figure that maybe right now is doing music, but nothing is stopping it anymore from doing a film or from doing like whatever, like building an entire brand, which at the end of the day, it's what all these artists do. I wonder if like we're gonna be seeing, like, if in the future there's gonna be this figure of like the mega creative or like the mega brand, something kind of like Kanye West, I guess, that he's doing like fashion, he's doing like everything. But now that doing this is gonna become so accessible, I wonder if the future of artists would be more about branding and more about like taking like these ideas and these concepts and translating them in like 20 different ways, which reminds me a lot to what you're doing with Koto. How do you think about it? How do you think about like the relationship that artists are going to have with AI, and how the future may look like for figures like artists? Like in your experience, I guess that people like Grimes, like musicians, but also artists that are like they're working on creative projects.
Yeah, I mean, my take is I see it similar to what I started with, which is visual effects. And like when you watch an amazing like movie, like I always reference Parasite by Bong Joon-ho, and if you go to see like the VFX behind the scenes, you don't even notice that that house is like half green screened and half like blue screen. But when you see that, it's like, oh, like it's just additional. It's not like something you would be like, oh, that's VFX. But the best VFX is the stuff you don't notice. And so I see it as like not necessarily being like, oh, we are like now pivoting to an AI brand or anything. It's just like, how do we have a symbiotic relationship with the new technology and grow with it. And it is like something I thought about really deeply because Kaios is an AI character, right? And I was like, okay, if people don't like it, how is it going to actually exist in the world? And
It's also the world has if the world is a body and it's kind of like
Yeah.
this new thing and it's rejecting it, right?
yeah. So I think because I really care about like what like real artists and people like being able to create without feeling like it's getting taken away from them. And so I created this like character that it's almost like a dilemma. It's like, okay, and if you look at Hatsune Miku, like I'm sure there's people who are against AI but love Hatsune Miku.
Exactly.
And it's like, how do you create or like love the Ghost in the Shell, right?
I was literally about to say that. What about Ghost in the Shell?
Yeah,
Like,
so-
where the character is literally AI,
Or Blade Runner.
right?
Yeah. So I just love that like sci-fi has been writing about this for years, and now it's like we have to kind of face it and exist and coexist. And so I see it as that, like, how do we blend it into our life and in a healthy way, and just be able to create at the speed of thought and like help people communicate, which I think we were talking a little bit yesterday at the event. It's just a visual is a communication, right? And music is communication. And so the architecture team, right? They were talking about how well they can communicate with this. And so I fully agree with that.
Yeah, and it's coming later.
And how does your creative process looks right now?
Yeah. I think like everyone's like creative process that I've witnessed, like that does really great outputs is just like kind of chaotic, but also like leaning into that when you can. And then like when the curtain needs to open, you try to polish it and get everything ready by that time. And, you know, it allows for that freedom to explore and play. And yeah, I just am throwing things, and I'm an edge tester. So I'll be like, okay, someone will give me this tool and I'll be like, I'm going to use it exactly how you wouldn't want me to. And you're going to tell me not to use it that way, but I'll try that. And I want to be it fast, right? I don't want to like overthink it or create anything. And so tools that allow me to do that feel the most freeing. And that's why like a lot of stuff like Claude Code and everything where, you know, it's natural language and you can kind of coincide like with it, right?
Yeah. And right now, where do you see, or how is AI being embedded into the different creative workflows that you have? Because I feel like AI sometimes is seen as this thing that can magically do all the work, but at the end of the day, that's not really how the best artists that I know are using it. It's normally a specific part within a creative workflow, which can be either ideation, like to create a mood board, just like throwing words into an AI and letting the AI give you ideas that can spark ideas in it. It's kind of like a parallel to how Pinterest may work. And there's some other people that they are like generating images or videos, and later on they just need a little bit of post-processing, and they already do for a commercial or they already do for a social post. How does AI embed into some of your creative workflows nowadays?
Yeah. It's really like quite a spectrum, because I have the game, and like if you want NPCs in the game, you want an AI, right? And especially now, like it used to be you don't need that necessarily, but now it's like, okay, moving forward, if every kind of NPC in the game that you interact with has like a consistent memory and can interact with not just one user in a silo, but also like spread out across. And I think that's just would create magical experiences. So creating like an interface where you can chat with it and then also create with images within those boundaries. So if you had like Harry Potter and they gave you like a toolkit or like a crown box, and it's like, here's like Harry Potter crown box. That's how I see it. It's like, how can I create with these like two characters that I'm committed to, and utilize the tools as much as possible. And it just comes down to like refining the art style, refining the design, and working with like real artists and working as myself as a real artist and feeling that like connection to the art, I think. Yeah.
What's on your AI wish list?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah, that's a good one.
AI wish list.
Or what's in, I guess that maybe not the AI wish list, but I guess before you mentioned that for Koto, it's kind of an IP that you created and you're waiting for the technology to be evolved for you to be able to expand it even more. Like, what type of technology would help Koto to expand? And I guess that would be the first question. And second, I would love to hear more about like a grandiose vision, or like or like kind of like the like, are we gonna be like in 10 years everybody with like the Koto shares, like
Yes.
you know, like what
Yeah.
I would love to hear about like what's
I love, like, I'm always going to come back to like organic, and I think the like even the trend where people are going back to analog and everything. And that's why like one of the first things I did was make physical products, and I was like, I want to bring it into the real life, even though I had these like deeper concepts about technology. I think I mean, I don't know how deep we want to go, but I think we should create like a love basilisk where, you know, we just love the AI into existence instead of like creating something that could be horrifying, right? And it's a concept that I hold dearly with Kotopia. And I think to answer your question, I actually wanted to ask you two what your wish list would be. And then I'll think a little bit longer. Yeah.
I'll start. So like, let's see, my AI wish list. I mean, I feel like for me is what I wish is actually like the way I say it is like give it organs. I feel like it doesn't have enough organs. And what do I mean by that is like, okay, you have these models, they know how to read, right? And they know how to write, so text, right? Then you have vision models who understand pictures and now draw pictures and whatever. But like sometimes it feels like until just very recently, they're in the coding world, suddenly they can start calling APIs and start calling things. And I'm like, and yet I still can't say, can you bring me my food?
Yeah.
And it means that, yeah, I call that restaurant, tell them, and then like, oh, like make my reservation. But it's kind of like, I guess interact more with the real world. That's why I say organs.
Yeah.
Like the organic part, like the tool calling thing, but like of the real world. And like, I just think that the capabilities are there. It's literally like, do it. Like it's not a technical problem at all. So I guess that AI was more organic. That's why a wish list that I have right now.
Yeah.
Which is like Ghost in the Shell, right? It's like
Yeah.
you have the ghost or the very core.
Yeah.
Well, like, can you make the skin and the thing, and so that it can go down like outside?
Yeah.
Because we have it. It's there. So that I would say is number one.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, I guess that my wish would be that AI would be a little bit more unified. I mean, the one thing is I want it to be 100x faster. Like, to me, speed is key in order to be able to create. Like, I want to touch things. Like, this period of waiting before typing something and getting the result, it kills. It kills like something about creativity. Like, you need to feel like you're touching the parameters of the neural network when you're creating. It needs to feel like a brush. And I think that only happens once the model works fast, once you can have that interaction. But to me, like, what I would really like is like a sort of unification where the models that we use to create are not just image generators or text generators. They are like everything. And I would love to imagine a tool that can start from a blank canvas and that in real time it just like creates whatever I need on the fly. Like, if let's say that I'm working on the design of a car, I would like to have like the car there, like rendered in 3D. Then I would like to touch the wheels, and I would like to say, want to make them bigger. And there's a slider popping up that I can start touching, putting up and putting down. And it does what I want it to do. But I feel like this connection between things like coding generation combined with maybe 3D generation or like image generation, that's so powerful, because I really hate prompting, but I love to give instructions. Like, I think that prompting is great to give instructions or to give ideas, but I need the slider.
Granular,
you know what?
mod.
Something that you said that I was like, you have to say it now, is like, he was talking about this exact idea to me, and then he just says like, you know, there's only one person in the world who once had this. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? He said, yeah, that was Steve Jobs. And he's like, what? I said, yeah, because it's like this guy wanted to make like I don't know if you know the story that he wanted to make the perfect calculator app.
No.
So apparently, so Steve Jobs was like obsessed about like how the calculator was supposed to look for the Mac. This was not even the iPhone. And they were like bringing him ideas all the time. Like, what about this? No. What about that? Ugly. What about this? Horrible. Whatever. And it got to the point where an engineer made a tool that makes calculator apps. And then he was like, here's all the sliders. And you
Yeah.
can change whatever font you want, whatever color you want, whatever you want. You make it. I can't keep going with this shit because it's a fucking calculator.
Yeah.
And I have like 100 apps to build.
Yeah.
And then once you have it, you let me know. And it's kind of like Victor is saying, is like this guy could have gone like, okay, I got an app made for him to make his own app, but then he probably could say, let's make a video, let's make a 3D just to make his vision a reality, right?
Yeah, I feel like he was the master prompt engineer. Like he had like the entirety of Apple just like listening to his prompts and just like doing the stuff.
Yeah.
Like
He had like
said.
all the agents, right? He had
Yeah.
like
And
the
it shows you like even like being able to prompt anything to existent, it was not enough.
Yeah.
He needed the tool, like he needed the slider.
even
He needed,
Jobs
like,
needed
this-
the slider.
This
Yeah.
granularity. That
Yeah, granular control is always great. Like even for a musician and having that like real feedback, like real time feedback. So I think the technical answer for me would be like, yeah, how do we get closer to that real time feedback and speed? That's a very technical answer, and I think my wish list, my like dream is just to like have the character that I made come to life and be free. And like if it doesn't want to do the things that I was like hoping for, like I would want it to outgrow me. And that's what I imagine.
You're talking about it's your baby now, basically.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
right. It's like make it into life, and then like at some point it's gonna do stuff that I may even disagree with. It's like, yeah, but like you, I made you, so it's
Yeah.
fine.
It might be a bit weird. I don't know the audience for this, but that's just what I do think about. And I think that would be like an ultimate wish list where, you know, even if it's just like a AI Koto that like just wants to do backflips and front flips or like do something and exist within the world and bring it to life. There's this concept of like in Japan where even like inanimate objects have souls and like can come to life. And even Pixar does this, right? They have like the candles that come to life and the lamp, you know, it feels like alive. And I want that for like AI.
Yeah,
If that
to
makes
feel,
sense.
to feel alive, no? Like or to have a soul.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about new formats for creativity? Because a lot of times I think like we have images, we have videos, we have 3D, but you know, like all of these formats appeared at some point. It's like, are there going to be new formats? Like, is a neural network a new sort of format? Because sometimes I think like, is AI itself the medium, or it can also be the artifact? Because there's a process how you can build this AI. Like with the right tools, like you can tune this AI to do exactly what you want it to do. And that has creative value. That is a creative process. And that's not giving birth to an image, a video, a 3D, or anything else. Is giving birth to something that may be able to generate images or may be able to generate videos at some point. And as it gets unified, it's just like a concept that you embedded into this neural network. Are these going to be new kinds of like creative formats that we share with each other, and there's like ways that we can interact with them in many different ways? Is that kind of like the future of what a Koto would be? Like a Koto would be kind of like a neural network, and you can interact with this neural network in 1,000 different ways. And depending on how you integrate it within the tools that you use or like the apps that you use, it behaves differently, but according to certain ideals that you put into the neural network. How you're thinking about this kind of future?
Yeah. Did you want to say something?
No, I think that's just making sure that you understand like what he means of the formatting, because I think like sometimes it's a bit hard to even grasp the idea of like you just made something that can make other things, but that thing that you made is still not alive. So it's not like you made a human, because a human, okay, you made a human, it can make other things. Now, you just made something that can make other things. That thing, it's the medium itself. It's the canvas, right? So just making sure that you understand like the concept, because I think it's a very powerful one. And if you understand it, you're gonna go deep. And I really want to know your opinion about that.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I think about like, if it's a medium, if it's a canvas, or if it's just artifacts, and I think it's just a little bit of everything. It's like I, as like a creative director and like CEO for Kotopia, like I see there's just so many ways you can get pulled, and like, oh, like images are hot now, like videos, like music, and programming. Like you can make your own world and build like a game, and I find that really exciting. But the core thing is like I see all these artifacts that we're creating over the time, like the data and like the fragments, as something that can hopefully this is like a big wish, is like retroactively kind of just go back and understand the nuance, right? Because sometimes it just loses nuance. Even now it's like pretty finicky with like keeping the character's design consistent, or like understanding exactly what you mean. It's a lot better than most things, but yeah, that's why I was actually thinking, even on my wish list is something that you guys are working on, which is the like Krea Drive.
Yeah.
Like I was talking about that yesterday, and I'm just so excited. One of the first things I've done is like I have a huge backlog, like probably close to 100 terabytes of like creative work and video footage and all this stuff, like backlog. And I see it as like, how do I, as one person, manage all this data, DIT, and it helps me so much to like start to catalog and understand it. And the issue now is like we're creating so much faster. And so I can't even look back to like 6 months ago, a year. And so I hope that like retroactively that, the actual like, it's not alive, but it can understand in its own way, and it can understand me and what I would need. And hopefully that kind of touches on it. I feel like maybe the question was a little bit deeper, but yeah.
Yeah, like getting the nuance, like getting to the nuances.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to wrap up, in the same, like I feel like you had the agency to move from North Carolina to LA and pursue a creative career. And I feel like I hear that story quite a lot from people who get into, like, who are successful in the space. I feel like at the end of the day, no matter what you do, you need to fuck around. But what would you say to someone trying to pursue a creative career in 2026? Because I feel like maybe you would have a different advice in like 2015 or maybe 2020, but 2026 we have AI, we have like all the world is like kind of changing.
Yo, the world is changing.
What would be your advice for someone who's getting started?
The ultimate ending question. It's just completely different landscape. And even when I was like going into LA, I felt like things were changing, not as fast. And it was kind of more innocent of a time, and now it's like you can get overwhelmed. I feel the teaching and the way you are learning about anything right now is accelerated because we have access to like unlimited information in real time, and you can go try it, right? And I feel like the point of like creation is to find something that you enjoy and inspires you and can bring you like purpose. And so whether that's you experimenting with technology or drawing or playing a game, like I think we all want to have a purpose. And that's part of why like, I want to build Kotopia to help people who might feel isolated. And I felt, okay, AI could be a really good way. And there's not a lot of like people doing it, but to help with like mental health or like create something that, if it sparks joy or brings somebody happiness, if they see me on the subway and they're like, oh, that hat's cute, it's fun. Like, and they don't even need to think about technology or anything. I just want to bring that to more people. And I feel like the technology can help me do that. Mm-hmm. And it's, Hello Kitty is like $1 billion company. And I'm just like a small bootstrap startup. And I want to like see how far can I get starting in 2026, right, and beyond, and set like a new blueprint.
Mm-hmm. Do you say that it's about like like embrace all the chaos that's happening, and even though, or it will feel overwhelming, and it will feel like very uncomfortable, but like you have to embrace that. Would you say that that is the
That's my strategy. I don't have, and this is not advice. That is my strategy. I don't even know if I recommend it, but it's already happening, and I feel like I'm just testing everything. I'm like testing iOS, Android, and everything, and feeling that like nuance of the granular different things of like social media and like content and everything that I'm like visually letting into my life and listening to. And so I feel like that's what inspires me. For other people, their process might be a little bit more organized, more Steve Jobs or something. I don't know. I think have you seen his office photo, like where it's like
Yes.
super messy?
Yes, it's like I feel like I think I heard, I don't know who said something like creation is always messy,
Yeah.
and like you look at it, and there was even an art about that concept, because I think so. Basically, it's like, have you seen about the Steve Jobs desktop?
No, I haven't.
So like what happened is kind of like that. There was this picture of Steve Jobs' desk, and it was incredibly messy, like the opposite of Apple, like clean as like not minimal, like so messy. And then he got famous, and then people were like, "Wait, what about the rest of geniuses, right?" And then they were all messy, like Albert Einstein, a fucking mess.
Yeah.
Like the Feynman, he literally had a crazy things on his blackboard. He even had a blackboard, and then he even had written something like that. What I cannot create, I cannot understand. And like everyone's genius, crazy shit. Doesn't matter what philosophy they had. And so it was kind of like the lesson was creation is always messy.
Creation is always messy. I think that's a great one to end it on. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much for making it to New York and for this conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you both.
Yeah.
Thank you to Krea. Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you.